Good morning, everybody. January 11th, post-run walk-off, and I'm getting at it. I want to share a little story. I've been listening to a podcast lately of a guy named Joe Rogan. Warning, you get a lot of language with him, but I'm listening to him because he interviews a lot of people in the world and gives us a connection to the heartbeat of humanity, the wide range of humanity. He shares this story that in Texas he's got 22 chickens, and he's got this big dog to protect these chickens named Johnny Cash. And there's coyotes around. So he tells a story that he and the family are playing Monopoly one day, and he hears a little bit of commotion, and he goes outside and he's just dumbfounded. The gate is busted down, and a coyote had just taken off with a chicken in its mouth. It had access and jumped over, and he's looking at his dog, Johnny Cash, this big powerful animal. It's like, dude, I didn't even hear a sound, he didn't even bark. What happened? And he deduced that because the coyote knew that it could not take on this big dog, Johnny Cash, it befriended him over time and then used him, actually tricked him into breaking down with his power the gate to the chickens, giving the wolf access. So again, you see the analogy here, this which the Johnny Cash is supposed to protect, he gives him access, and it doesn't stop there. A few days later, Johnny Cash, again acting on instinct, had been duped to now attacking the chickens himself. So it just, as I was listening to it, it made me think about this world. You know, have we given the enemy access? Have we been duped into befriending a world by complicity, by silence, by just allowing things to happen? Think about our digital media. Do we know what our kids are seeing? You know, the ideas in the world around us. Have we come to equate love with whatever anyone desires? Have we learned to ask the right questions of that? Okay, if love is what I desire and nobody can say anything about it, okay. What if somebody desires a wife other than their own? Is that okay? What if somebody desires kids? Is that okay? I mean, God made them that way, right? They desire that. What if somebody desires to run through stop signs? God made them that way. If we're going to equate desire with the good without questioning it, we've got nothing to say to anybody about anything. And that is the Kool-Aid of the day. And then we see the dissolution of an entire country, and now we see it institutionalized in politics, unchecked. All the branches of government, and the media complicit. The media totally blackout of the evidence, empirical data and evidence of so many things. The fraudulence of this election. I know some of you may not want to hear that, but some of it is unbelievable. Data scientists, MIT, Fulbright scholars, it's out there if you're willing to look for it. And it's stunning that the establishment media has not reported on this. Instead of informed consent, where they provide the information and we decide, they are manufacturing consent. They are about this ideology. So they are Johnny Cash, so to speak, the dog that has been duped. And their goal is that we are duped also. So, number one, practically, yes, if you are into social media, which I do think has a value with self-control and a capacity to influence, it is the marketplace. Sorry, it's where 80% of the people get their information. And if we don't be heralds of the truth, if we do not see ourselves like Christ, who was in the form of God, was up in heaven and entered into this mess, if we don't see that we're called to do the same, and it's so long as we're allowed, right, for him, it took him to the cross. If we don't recognize that value, who will tell them? How will they know? So on the question of whether or not to, quit our Facebook accounts or Twitter accounts, if you are in the game of communicating the truth with love, don't give up. Don't stop communicating there. Even if it's messy, even if at times, we need to check our tones, which we should before we post. I can't tell you how many people have said to me how grateful they are that even if they even may disagree or started to disagree, they are so grateful that I've tried to communicate the truth with love that has had an impact on them. So as long as they don't shut me down, I've had moments where I wondered if I was, I'm not sure, but Facebook and Twitter, I'm going to keep communicating the truth with love. And all this to say that we have little control over much that happens out there. But as Mother Teresa said, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. That's the message. That's it. We need to be praying with our spouse, with our children, and creating a culture of encounter. We had an awesome gathering with our core leader couples last night, amazing people, would give testimony to God alive when we get over our resistance, when we recognize the wolf, the coyote, when we are aware that we don't become complicit, when we seize control of the temperature and atmosphere of our homes. It's a difficult thing to do. When we are bearers of truth regardless of what the world is saying around us, that we're not looking to just be liked by the world, that we don't reject God in this world so that he won't reject us before the Father. He invites us now to a point, a decisive point in history where he is sovereign and he is over all, and he wants us to know his joy, he wants us to know his truth, and he wants us to live it fully. So if you're inclined to do that, if you're moved to do that, if you see how important that is, please join us at ilovemyfamily.us. God bless you. Have a great week.